So next up in this string of just terroristic events, now we talk about the incident that happened in Pensacola, Florida at that Naval Air Station. So his name is Mohammed, and I hope I'm pronouncing it. I'm probably going to butcher his name. His name is Mohammed Saeed Alshamrani or Morani. You'll see the name in the title. And he has been identified as the suspected shooter at that Naval Air Force place. But not only that, he, like the Romero guy, was a member of the Saudi Air Force. And notice it says Saudi Arabia. So now you know what they about to do. They probably going to try to do a whole 9/11 type of thing again, where they going to start stereotyping Arabs. But anyway, let's get into this story. The suspect in a shooting that killed 3 people and injured several others at a naval base in Pensacola, Florida on Friday morning was a member of the Saudi Air Force who was in the U.S. for training. Several law enforcement sources identified the gunman who was killed in the incident as Mohammed Saeed Al-Sharmarani. Saudi Arabia is going to owe a debt here, given that is one of their individuals, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis told reporters. The government of Saudi Arabia needs to make things better for these victims. 2 Escambia County Sheriff's deputies who were at the scene immediately after reports of shots fired at about 6:50 a.m. were injured in an exchange of gunfire with the shooter who had a handgun. One officer who was shot in the arm and the other was shot in the leg and was in surgery, Chief Deputy Chip Simmons said at a news conference. They were both expected to survive. I could not be prouder of the men and women in the sheriff's office, Sheriff David Morgan said. They ran to the fight, not from the fight. I could not be prouder of the men and women of the sheriff's office, Sheriff David Morgan said. They ran to... Oh, I'm sorry, I read the same thing twice. Excuse me. Base Commander Captain Timothy Kinsella said those on the base demonstrated some real heroism today. He added that the base holds active shooter drills regularly. In addition to the 2 sheriff's deputies, 6 other people were injured. Walking through the crime scene was like being on the set of a movie. Kinsella said foreign students from ally and partner nations have been coming to train at the base since at least World War II. There have always been international students training here because it's a good place to train. It's good quality training. 45 tweeted Friday afternoon that he had heard from the Saudi monarch. King Salman of Saudi Arabia just called to express his sincere condolences and give his sympathies to the families and friends of the victims, 45 wrote. 45 also told reporters about the call. The king said that Saudi people are greatly angered by the barbaric actions of the shooter and that this person in no way, shape, or form represents the feelings of the Saudi people who love the American people so much. Our condolences go to the families and to everybody involved, including the wounded, 45 added. Other elected officials also reacted, including Representative Mike Rogers of Alabama, the ranking member of the House Homeland Security Committee, who said that while the FBI is conducting a full investigation into the shooter's motives, it certainly bears the hallmark signs of a terror attack. I urge Saudi Arabia to cooperate fully with the investigation. It is vital that we fully understand the specifics of how the attacker was approved to enter the United States and attend flight training. The shooting unfolded in a 2-floor classroom building at the base. Jeff Burgosh, a facilities manager at the naval station, had just arrived at the front gates in the morning when the station was put on lockdown, trapping thousands of workers in their cars. It's pretty surreal, Burgosh told MSNBC. We're just praying for the victims. He said more than 10,000 workers come to Naval Air Force Pensacola every day, many entering from Navy Boulevard, which Florida morning became a miles-long parking lot when the lockdown was ordered. When this happened was prime time rush hour for all base employees. It was chaos with the ambulances and the police vehicles screaming by with the sirens. We knew pretty quickly that this was a pretty serious event. The base was still on lockdown at about 10 a.m. and was to remain closed for the rest of the day, with only essential personnel allowed to enter. Pensacola Mayor Grover C. Robinson also asked residents to avoid the area around the base as investigators swarmed the scene. The Naval Air Station Pensacola employs more than 16,000 military and 7,400 civilian personnel. The economy and the culture of the surrounding area are largely entwined with the base, which resembles a college campus and where 60,000 members of the Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Coast Guard receive training each year. I'm gonna skip that next part because it's just basically going into the history of the base, so we don't need to go into that. So yeah, this is the guy right here who was identified as that, and I had one of my subscribers had told me about it, and I said they had a shooting there, and I said, okay, I'm not gonna jump out the window with it. I'm gonna wait and find out who it is, because a lot of people automatically would assume that this could have been a palm colored person, and as you can see, it isn't. But it lines right up with the narrative that they would want, because they have been, I know that many people in the media have been itching for a shooter, a mass shooting to occur where the person identified as Arab or Muslim, because they love to throw that terrorist label onto them heavily, especially since 9/11. But yeah, this is the guy right here. Like I said, the thing that he has in common with the Romero guy is the fact that they both were military personnel. It's just that he wasn't American, or U.S., I should say, military personnel. He was just there for the training. But the fact of the matter is, a shooting happened at a base, like in the other story. But yeah, it's crazy. And it's crazy too, because this is the second thing that came out of Florida this week. A second tragedy, I should say. The first one being the one I talked about with the UPS drivers, well, the UPS hijacking, I should say. And now you have this in two different parts of Florida, but in Florida nonetheless. Like I said, all of this stuff happening all in 1 week, and it's only the 6th of December. We have just a couple more weeks left before 2020. I said to myself, it was going to be a lot more stuff that was going to kick up before this year was out, and it looks like I was right. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.